now if okay, in green zone arrest, this is the normal procedure for green zone arrest. Firstly, you need to drop the macros that says this is green zone, please put your guns away. You know. So afterward, if the person uh still holding his gun, the next is to drop this macros. And if the person of the this and secondly, I need to make you understand something, okay? If you have the advantage of arresting that person while being close, you can actually arrest that person. But firstly, before I forgot, you after sending the macros, because if the person still continue to hold macros till you click on I will use my taser if you don't comply, which means you need to use your voice. The person might be on AFK, so use your voice to explain. So it won't come to PD and start saying you didn't use your voice, you only use the macro. So now the next is if you have full advantage, I mean being closer to that person, you might not use your taser. And if the person the person is trying to resist arrest, then you can actually use taser. The reason why I said you can actually you can actually arrest that person without using your taser is because you have full advantage of arresting that person without using your taser. It is more closer and it is very much easier for you. So, and the reason why you use taser to arrest that person is because you want to make it easier for you to handcuff that person. So, after using your taser or after getting the suspect arrested, then you use this and this. So, next, if the distance is then your next is your 10 code, which says suspect in custody. Yeah, we say suspect in custody. Then the next is maybe the area is far from PD, and when you get to PD, your next 10 code is 1098, which is back in PD. So when you get to PD, your next macro is it is requesting for document. And actually I would prefer after using that macros, you use your voice to explain to that person that you will charge him 3.6 if you refuse to provide the document. And if the person provide the document, your next macros is run information, then your 10 code. Uh, then your 10 code is ID check, warrant check, then use slash flobby, suspect name. If the person has violation, you put the amount of violation he has. If the person doesn't have violation, you put a zero violation there. So after that, after going through that, then the next is you need to issue the person your violation 1.7, 3.2. And mind you, if the person refused to provide his document, maybe his ID, then the valuation becomes 3. It becomes your 1.7, 3.2, and 3.6. So next, your next macro is try to search that person. Then you send, also use voice to also talk to that person. Actually, that's if you want to. So it's telling that player, hello sir, if you have anything on him that can harm you, so and so, blah blah blah. Then then you go ahead and search for confiscate illegal items. And the next is search for things. And here you have to be you have to be very careful. If it shows fails, it means you don't need to confiscate the suspect. The next is to just give him to just take his fingerprint and give him a jumpsuit. Or so in this case, and if it shows green, it means if the person has an object on his body, a criminal objects on him, then you can confiscate such person. So in this case, we have failed. So which means we don't need to confiscate the suspect. The next thing is to take the fingerprints and jumpsuit, then let the PD know that you are done with your with your arrest by using the code 4, which says all clear. Thank you. Which one is the next one? Out of green zone arrest, I. Okay, so out of green zone arrest, if you maybe the person is already is gone out there, maybe running, and your macros should be so hold up. So your macro should be drop the weapon or you use taser, because that where he is not a green zone, so it is a neutral area where you can actually be killed instantly. So what you need to do is to drop this macro, say drop the weapon or you'll be tased. Then if the issue persists, then you drop this, like it's just the difference is the difference from this one I'm dropping with the first one is uh that one is green zone, and of which you need to involve the green zone macros. So here you are not involving green zone macros. So the next thing is to use your taser. This is very important, because here you need to use your taser, because that the suspects can actually shoot you instantly. Immediately you step out of your vehicle, it can actually shoot you, of which you need to always be at alert when it comes to this. Yeah, I will advise you use your taser. I will advise you use your taser, because you have advantage, you also have advantage. So here I will advise you use your taser, and after what after you get hold of the suspect, you use these macros and these other macros will say you have the right to remain silent. So your next macro is to let the PD know that you have suspect in custody. So then the next, so when you get to PD, same term code, back to station. So now you now go back to same procedure of this same macros that says you need that you want to request for your for his document. You need to request for his ID, his gun license. That if you want to request for the gun license, but let's move on. So you requesting for ID. So if you provide his ID, you don't need to charge him 3.6. And if he refuse to provide his ID, you need to charge him 3.6 for that. So in this case, let's say this person refuse to provide his ID. Let's assume he's a criminal. He refused to provide his ID. So you don't need run information, because the first one provides his ID, and you run information, and you also do ID check, warrant check. But let's say in this case, this person refused to provide his ID. So the next thing is to do slash flobby the suspect's name, then suspect refused to provide document. So what which automatically means you will need to charge him 3.6 for that. So the next thing is to now charge the the suspect for 3.2, 3.6, 1.9. So 3.2, 3.6, 1.9. Next is to after giving the person the charges, then you use the same macros that you need to search him. Does he have anything that can harm you, so and so on and all. Then search to confiscate illegal items. That search to pick out some things, then you're trying to search and it shows fails, and if it shows successful, you need to confiscate the suspect. On this, but in this case, it doesn't show successful, so you need to take the fingerprint and give it the jumpsuit. And also, don't forget to remind the PD that you are done with your arrest by sending the code 4, which says all clear. Thank you. Sorry, I quickly went to pee. I was lying on the bed, so yes. The next one is please, what's the third one, sir? Uh, okay, yeah, punching. Yes, of course. So if it is punching, so the macros is quite different. The macros, your macros should be this is after my taser. So it should be sorry. Your macro should be stop or leave now, or you'll be detained or arrest. And if the person continues, then your macro should be I will use my taser if you don't comply. Then if it continues punching you, you need to use your taser. Then after getting hold of him, then you use your macros, pace down suspect and configure. Sorry, I said pace down suspect, double lock off. And this next macros is you have the right to remain silent. So then you don't forget to always use your 10 code to send a message to PD that you have a suspect in custody of, which means once you send this message to them, so they are expecting you to bring the suspect to the PD. So when you get to PD, then your next macros is this same macros request documents. So if you request for documents, if let's say this person provide his document, then your next macros is to run information. Then the next is ID check, warrant check. Then you click slash flobby space suspect name and the amount of violation you see there. And if it does not have violation, excuse me, and if you do not have violation, then you put zero violation. So the next is to uh give him the next is to give him a violation of uh 1.12 3.2 and 1.12 3.2. And afterwards uh then you um yes, you say hello, you need to search so and so. If he has anything on him, then you search suspect, confiscate illegal. Then the next macros is try search for things. So this is what I was talking about when it shows successful. So when it shows successful, you need to confiscate. In the past, suspect search we did was to it shows fails, which we did not confiscate, but in this particular one, it shows success, which means we need to confiscate this suspect. So the next thing is to take his fingerprint and give him just John's put. And don't forget, the lastly, to always remind PD that you are done with your arrest. Thank you.